This is from Raised in Both Worlds, Raised in Both Worlds at davidstubb.com. Most people think that having the ability to see angels, spirits, and ghosts and dead loved ones and pets is the most wonderful thing in the world. But it happened at any time, in the daytime, late at night. Most of mine happened at 3:33 a.m. or p.m., or along that area. But they pop up when they least expect it. They don't pop up. Most people think, oh, he's lucky. Oh, they watching him. No, they not. They watching me, right? But they watching to see how I handle different situations, especially free will, And when you need them, they don't pop up because they want you to see how you handle your journey or see how you handle certain situations. But normally when they pop up, I don't supposed to see them, you know. And I can't count the number of spirits I done saw who say that's totally impossible. And then I explained to them, and they say they got to go check with God, and that's what they call him, God. They say, "Well, I got to go check with God to see what's going on because you don't put to see me." And at least 6 of them said the same thing after they checked with God. They said, "Oh, God said, all right, to talk to you, you can exist in both worlds. But as long as we don't mess with your journey, if we want to mess with your journey, we got to go get the okay from God." But he said, okay to talk to you. And I always say, why? Why did he say y'all can talk to me? They say we don't ask God them type of questions. We his messenger. And I soon find out, from my angel, who I was on the other side and why I'm allowed to exist in both worlds. And she been my angel for millions of years, and she said, I've been training you for millions of years for the final war, good versus evil. You one of 4 warriors leaders in God's army. So I kind of get the idea of why, because I got to have training in both worlds in each of my lifetimes until the final war. So that's understandable, but it took me a long time to find that out. But anyway, one weekend they were showing what's going to be on Jerry Springer Monday, right? And they was showing it the whole weekend, previews. And I said, I got to see that. Ain't nothing going to stop me from seeing that. Which I normally get home like 15 minutes before 3. Which Jerry Springer come on 3 p.m. every Monday through Friday where I lived at. So I rushed home that Monday, run in and got me some snacks, something cold to drink, turned the AC on 68 because it's hot out there working on golf courses, you know what I mean? So I'm relaxing, waiting for Jerry to come on. Soon as Jerry come on, a lady popped up in front of my TV, solid as you and me. And I say, hey man, move out the way of the TV. She looked around. I said, yeah, you. Move out the way of the TV. I've been waiting all weekend to see Jerry Springer. Please. Because once they show it, I ain't going to see it no more because they're coming on at the beginning. She looked like, I said, yeah, you. Please just step aside. So she stepped aside, and I say, are you good or evil? That's what she did. I say, miss, if you good or evil, she ain't said nothing. So I start saying what you supposed to say every time you see someone from the other side. You're supposed to say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. Is you a good? Is you a evil? I'm not evil. But I know she wasn't evil because she showed no reaction when I say I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. Because normally they're supposed to take away their strength. It didn't phase her. And she looked like some kind of inspector. You know, she had on a blue uniform with a red outline tag, white background, I guess with her name on it. And we started talking, right? And she said, it's totally impossible for you to see me. I got to go check with God. I said, no, 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 no. Don't go check with God. I said, I get this all the time. And she said, who all you see? I, I see angels, spirits, ghosts, good and bad. I said, that's why I say I rebuke you. I learned that from my angel. That's what I should say every time I see somebody from the other side. And if they're evil, it's to take away their strength and they'll leave. If they're real powerful, it's to take a while, but eventually they'll leave. But if they ain't got extra power, they have to get out of there quick because they don't want to drain their power because they no longer can exist in this ring of dimension. You know, and she was listening and she said, well, it's real rare. And she said, I never saw this before. A human can talk to me and see me? I said, yes, ma'am, I can see you. I said, you got on a light blue shirt, so-and-so color pants, you got a little short curly hair, you wearing glasses. You know what I'm saying? Well, why do you have to wear glasses on the other side? And she said, oh, forceful habit. So I still was confused because she might not even been dead. You know, she might have been from a different dimension, a higher dimension, and they checking on, you know, us down here or something. But she had a job, which is lots of jobs over there. There's more jobs in heaven than it is on earth because each individual may have from let's say 30 to 60 entities on their spiritual team. So imagine that. Each person requires 30 to 60 watchers and spirits and entities to keep them alive, you know, and to record everything they do, good and bad, you know. So me and her talking and talking, we had a little chat, you know. She was shocked that I could see her, and I'm quite sure she still checked with God. So she said, do you have any more questions? And I say, if you are God, how about giving me them lottery number, the next winning lottery number? And she say, that man generated. They have nothing to do with heaven or the universe. That man generated. And I figured, well, she ain't an angel. Because my angels done took me into the future and I seen all the numbers for the next 100 years and I was so greedy and I couldn't find no pencil and I kept trying to get find the biggest pot. You know what I mean? And I got 3 numbers down. And I ain't even remember what year that that thing was gonna fall, But I was too greedy. I should have just wrote the first thing I saw, which would have been closer to my future instead of looking at something according to the amount, which was probably 25, 50 years from my time. And she say numbers are men generated. It not a heaven. I can't uh give you that. She said that on the level of free will, somebody choosing them numbers, or human is choosing them numbers. So I said, I tell you what the next big thing going to happen in my life? She said, promotion. Boom! She disappeared. I finished looking at Jerry Sprinkle, and I thought about it. My boss told me it used to be a cold day in hell before the company I'm working for hire a black general manager. I say, so that ain't gonna happen. I say, she don't know what she talking about, right? So I go to work Tuesday. Me and my boss sit down and talk every morning, to discuss what we need to do, what I got planned for today and stuff and all that. And I told him about my dream. I say, boss, man, when I went home yesterday to look at Jerry Sprinkle, man, a white woman pop up in the middle of my living room. He said, you need to lay off that weed. I say, boss, I don't smoke no weed, man. Right? So boss left. And he come back in my office at the end of the day because I was working late. Because I knew the president of the company was coming. So I was waiting to see what boss say, or how the president liked the place, and he come in my office, he looked at mad, he looked at pissed, and he said, remember that broad in your dream? I said, yeah. He said, well, she was right. I say, how you say she was right? I got a promotion? He said, yeah, you got a promotion. The president drove from California. He drove an RV from California all the way to South Florida. And he said everywhere was burnt, brown. He said then we ate dinner at the PGA, right in front of the putting green, in front of the main area. All the flowers were dead. All the grass was brown from the ice. And he say, man, I think we got something special. My boss say, he told him, say, what you mean? He say, all these places get water 7 days a week. But you and that little black guy place, y'all in the water control environment, and y'all get water once a week in the wintertime. How is that guy golf course is the most beautiful green we ever seen? My boss said he told him, I don't know. But I think he overseed the whole place, Mr. President. And the Mr. President say, yeah, he might have overseed the whole place. Everybody else did too. But they brown. He say, but the grass out front is St. Augustine. And the grass at the clubhouse is St. Augustine. He can't oversee that. But why is that not brown? And my boss say, I don't know. But I asked him, and he said, the president say, you know what? That guy done built the whole city making $12 an hour. We need to change that before it get out. You need to give that guy like a $16 raise, 16 or 17. It was high. So you need to give him a raise but try to get him a little bit each pay period, not just shop to stockholders, so they won't see one big whop going that quick. He said, but man, that guy is something special, man. We need to make sure we keep him in the company. And I say, well, boss, all that good news, but that ain't no promotion, boss. That just money. He said, look it up on the computer. A promotion is raise or change of stature of a position. So I looked it up on the computer real quick, and it showed enough say a promotion is a raise or change of stature. And I say, boss, but why is you so mad? Because I worked for him for 24 years. He ain't never gave me a raise or nobody else. It ain't right. And I say, well, boss, man, come on, man. I say, man, your wife say, since I started working, you been a whole new man, and you not stressful no more. You not depressed no more. She say, I changed your life, so you should be willing to give me whatever the man say. She said, but I thought $12 was good in you people neighborhood. I say, is $12 good in your neighborhood? She say, no. It won't even pay half of my bills. I say, well, I feel the same way. I want a nice house, nice car, and all that too. Well, I just thought $12 was a lot of money in your neighborhood, and anything more would make you a target. I say, no. If anything more will give me the ability to move in a better place. So I ain't know you people want that. What you talking about, you people, man? And the sad part is, I never got the raise. He never gave it to me. I think he gave me like maybe $2. And I asked him, hey, boss, what about the other 14? Oh, that guy out of his mind. I don't want to get in trouble with the stockholders, But anyway, this kind of things happen. They pop up out of nowhere. And I know at least 3 porters in my house. 1 porter in front of the TV, because she wasn't the first one to pop up. Another porter is by my switch, by the door, and the window, which is about yay wide apart. The door. Just the window. I just seen plenty of things come out of there. Reapers, like 7 reapers at one time. Them come through there. And it also one by my lazy boy chair by the TV, because that way my angel been popping up. And then one day I saw a black hole there, and I tried everything to get rid of it. It won't go nowhere. I mean, I done tried everything, and then I remember when we used to travel, me and my angel, when we were young, we used to be inspecting. We hit them black holes. And we be going to different dimensions, different rings. When you hit that black hole, it takes seconds to get where you going at. You know what I mean? Seconds. And you can go in the past, the future, anywhere. But that round, perfectly circle. Round, it was a perfect circle, but it was black. And I say, oh, that's part of a black hole. And I even jump in it to see will it open, but it don't open. But I was shocked to see that, because nowhere else on my den floor, which is a bedroom, that you can see that black circle. So Africa is a portal. So I made 2 divine rods, like when you get to water, they cross over. I go to all them portals, that rod cross over. Rod cross over. Rod cross over. They each and every where I thought it was a portal. So every house would probably have them portals. You know what I mean? Because that's how they travel. So with the ability, they pop up out of nowhere. Sometimes I be sitting on side of the bed most of the time. That when they pop up right on side of me. And I'm like, how you do that? I'm still in my body. Yes, so why? So what? You in your body. What that mean? So if you can handle that, can you handle the gift? You just chilling out looking at TV and a spirit pop up in front of your TV. What would you think and how would you handle that? Think about it. The name of this story is Who is this white woman in my den in front of the TV? Thank you and God bless.